Battle drums, daily drums, working drums, school drums, ceremonial drums and folk drums. I've observed all these things throughout the 6 years I've stayed in Vietnam, and I'm guessing that there must be a strong link between the drums and the life here.
That's all I know about the role of the drum in Vietnamese history and Vietnamese culture. Hello, my name is Josh, I'm from the UK. Today I have the chance to understand more about the drum in Vietnamese life. Welcome to Vietnam Discovery. Now I'm in Đọi Tam village, about 60 kilometers from Hanoi. Even though this is a drumcraft village, you can see that it still maintains the atmosphere of an agricultural area.
Here I'm surrounded by drum making. From the sound of the saw cutting through the wood, to the sight of the timber drying in the sun, and to the smell of the buffalo skin. That is the typical atmosphere of Đọi Tam drum village.
And then we had a walk around the village, really nice, peaceful village. I've been to quite a few craft villages around Hanoi. Actually, this is one of my favourites because it's still really quiet. Many of the craft villages around Hanoi, they've got quite noisy, or maybe there are more factories and things like that. But that hasn't happened here at all. And the main thing is also it's surrounded by a beautiful green countryside. So you know, you walk just a few minutes in any direction and then suddenly you're in rice paddies. Actually quite a big group of old ladies were sitting there under the banyan tree and under the shrine. Oh, cảm ơn nhé. Yeah. Immediately invited to sit down and to talk to them and to spend time with them. In some ways I think it's probably quite unique to Vietnamese village culture. It's not the kind of thing that you see in Britain, not normally. You wouldn't see a bunch of ladies sitting around and chatting like that, to begin with, outside. And secondly, it would be unlikely for them to invite a foreigner or a traveller to come and sit down and to enjoy with them. So I feel really lucky, actually. I feel really privileged that I got to experience that. Rồi, Châu đi tiếp. Dạ, cảm ơn các bạn nhé. Dạ. Yeah. That was a really warm feeling, and again, it was another opportunity for me to experience the warmth and hospitality of the villagers here. Chú Minh à? À.
Mr. Ming, the head of one of the hamlets in Đọi Tam village, welcomes me warmly. He is eager to introduce me to drum makers, and he himself tells me a lot of things about his village. According to Mr. Ming, there are more than 700 households with 2,000 people in the village. But many of them have moved out in order to practice their craft in other areas. Mr. Lai's family are one of the most experienced in Đọi Tam and are highly respected by the other villagers. In the past, due to hardship, Mr. Lai intended to quit his job several times, but he and his family have maintained their craft until now. It's now been nearly 20 years, and they have stayed true to traditional methods of drum making. Each year, they produce hundreds of drums to sell all over Vietnam.
Xem chú Lai làm nhá.
Dạ.
Chú chào cháu nhá.
Dạ, cảm ơn chú nhé. Dạ.
Thế có gì thì không hiểu thì cứ hỏi chú Lai.
Dạ.
Giờ nào một cái dây chuyền giờ người làm tang, người sản xuất ra cái da trâu kia, đấy, người làm cái khung này, thì nào đến giờ nó thành một cái dây chuyền, những người bưng lên này là những người hoàn thiện cuối cùng vào cái mặt trống này, đấy là giai đoạn cuối cùng, đấy thì là thôi đợi chú một tí nữa thì chú làm nốt này, chú dẫn cháu đi tham quan cùng chú.
Here we are at the very first stage of making a drum barrel. So each drum barrel is made with a number of these rounded planks. In the olden days this was really difficult, but these days we have modern machinery which makes curving the wood a much faster and a much easier process. So today I'm going to learn how to do this. Hữu Lai, đi nhé.
Making curved wooden planks, which are then used for perfectly circular drum barrels, is top secret and known only to Đọi Tam drum makers. I'm now at Mr. Thor's, a young and talented drum maker. Although now many artisans use modern heat technology to turn straight planks into curved ones, Mr. Thor is still loyal to the traditional technique of cutting wooden planks.
Đây là xưa các cụ làm là cứ không có gắn một cái keo nào này.
Theo đúng các cụ ngày trước đây.
Các cụ xưa này.
Rồi cái đai này nó lén tự nó chặt nó ép vào.
Bên này nó giữ rồi. Cái gỗ mít thì nó có độ vinh này, độ co gót của nó là không có. Độ âm thanh nó giữ được cái độ âm thanh đến đâu.
So the drum makers say that they have a secret, which means that their drums, the drums that they produce here in this village, are better than in other villages, other kind of newer villages that have only recently started producing drums. And yeah, they have kind of all of these secrets in putting the wood together and choosing the right wood and cutting it in a certain way and all sorts of things like that. Which is why their drums are at such a high quality compared with other drums that you can find nowadays in Vietnam. When they say that, I completely believe them.
There is a strict rule in drum making here, which is that the drum makers only teach the craft to their sons.
And I've never been to a drum craft village before, and then we were on our way, and immediately you can hear the sounds of the drum. So that's really that was really exciting.
Skin processing is perhaps the hardest job in the drum making process. Mr. Quang is one of a few people in the village who still practices this job.
So I've just finished working with the drum barrel, and now we're turning to the skin. Ông ơi, làm bộ da mất bao lâu?
Mất 2-3 tiếng đồng hồ.
Làm khó không?
Quen.
Quen rồi à? So he's using the knife to separate the fat from the buffalo skin. There's a huge pile of fat here, which he's taken off already, and there's still quite a lot to do. So I've been watching him for a while now, and it's time for me to have a go. Ông ơi, chỗ làm thưa được không?
Được.
Ngón tay nè.
Thì ở đây. Thôi. Đấy, vừa mất mỏng rồi. Về nhẹ thôi đấy.
Chậu làm hồng không?
Cũng không được đảm bảo để làm thế này.
I didn't break it.
Chưa quen. Đấy, được chưa?
So I've just been doing this for a few minutes, and my back is already really sore, and I can't think that he has to do this for hours and hours every day. So the next step was stretching it out so that it's able to dry. That is a lot more physically demanding because you need to make sure that it's kind of as stretched out and as flat as possible. And yeah, the techniques are kind of quite basic. So you're just using like a big metal frame and ropes, and then tying them as tight as you can, but without as tight as you can, but without ripping the skin as well. Because if you do it too tight, then the skin rips. So you have to be quite precise as well, and as well it's tough. It's really tough. Mr. Kwang and I did one skin, and we did it together. And I think I probably did less than a quarter, and I was really sweating a lot from that.
Drying the skin is the last step of skin processing, and it depends very much on the weather.
So usually you can dry it outside in the sun, but because today's a little bit cloudy, so we have to bring it in, and we have to use fire to dry the skin. You have to do it quickly. If the skin's not dry within 2 days, then it rots, and then it's all for nothing.
I mean, I guess he has to do this a lot because quite often it won't be sunny. It will be rainy, or it'll be too cold, and it won't dry in the sun. So normally he has to dry it like this, I guess. So the skin, like this, the skin will take about 12 hours to dry. So by tomorrow morning we should have two dry skins.
The final job that Mr. Kwang has to do is he makes circles on it, which he can then cut, and then it will go at some point in the future onto a drum. So it's important that he makes as many circles as he can so that he can really maximise his profits. That was the most shocking part of the whole process, and it's because I realised how little he makes from doing this.
Để tính vẽ được nhiều thì nhiều tiền.
Dạ vâng.
Cái này là có con nỗ nãi, nhưng mà cái nãi thì nó không đáng bao nhiêu, nên là các cháu nó không ai theo nghề này cả, chỉ có ông bà già ở nhà làm thôi. Chỗ này được 1 triệu thôi.
1 triệu thôi à? Mr. Kwang says it's enough to live, and I guess I believe him because he has a very simple life. But still, I can't believe how much money he makes or doesn't make from this job.
Đây, cắm quả này lên. Nãy giờ.
So here we have the skin, after it's gone through all of the preparation processes. This is the final part of the drum making process, which is attaching the skin to the barrel. This is supposed to be the most difficult part, so I'm a little bit worried, I'm a little bit nervous to see if I'll get it right, but okay, I just have to try. Okay, bắt đầu nhé.
Bắt đầu đây, có giữ nha, chỉnh cân chống lên dây.
Yeah. Come ở đây à?
Này nhá.
Yeah. So now he's climbed on the top to jump on it like this. I guess what he's doing is trying to make it kind of as flat or as stretched as possible. And when he gets down, I'm going to have a go and try and do it as well.
Đây, giờ rót, leo lên giận cho nó giãn mặt trống ra lại chỉnh căng.
Dạ. Nguy hiểm không?
Cứ leo lên thử đi. Đấy, cứ thế là giãn.
Then having a go for myself, I mean, it's a really weird experience because you're on a skin that's very, very thin, you know, and it feels like it's going to break. Actually, it feels like it's going to rip and that you're going to just fall through the drum. Of course, it doesn't. It never does. You know, it's very strong and tough, so you never fall through. But yeah, I mean, that was also tricky because you know, I've never done anything like that. And it's really hard to be up there and to keep your balance and make sure that it's, I don't know, make sure that you're doing it correctly. I had no idea if I was doing it right actually. Tại sao chưa biết? Mát trống được rồi.
Mặt trống nếu mà nó căng ấy thì là có nghĩa lúc bưng lên là do cái tai của mình. Tự tính tai của mình là mình biết thế nào là nó căng cái âm thanh như nào. Biết là cái âm thanh bây giờ không phải cần phải ấn tay cả, nghe ở tai mình là giờ mình làm nghề nó lâu lắm rồi thì giờ mình rút ra kinh nghiệm, mình bưng nhiều trống rồi, mình va chạm rồi thì là tự mình rút kinh nghiệm ra.
So this is the traditional method of attaching the buffalo skin to the wood. You use a bamboo nail which you sharpen and then you bang it in and cut it off. Like so.
Đấy. Thế này chặt tay thì bắt đầu là như này. Đấy này.
The most difficult thing is the technique. It's not that hard physically, but being able to tap it in just the right amount and then to cut it so that it kind of creates a nice smooth finish. Like Chu Lai is able to do is really, really hard. My nails look nothing like Chu Lai's nails.
Cut it off.
Xong rồi. I think it's amazing, and I think it's amazing that these people have kept this craft going, and it's still going now, even in this modern day of iPhones and laptop computers and whatever. That there are these people who are still producing, you know, really high quality crafts in a very traditional way.
Following Mr. Lai, I had a special tour of the communal house of the village. Here I met Mr. Ming again. They shared with me a lot of interesting things about the drums that I never knew before.
Cháu biết là ông tổ làng nghề của các chú là bưng cái quả trống này tặng cho vua. Thế và khi mà vua đánh lên nghe cái tiếng trống nó như tiếng sấm, cho nên là vua mới phong cho ông tổ của làng nghề chú một cái danh hiệu là chạ sấp. Bây giờ đến đời các chú của con và ấy là vẫn khôi phục và giữ gìn cái trống này, nó như là cái linh hồn của làng. Và mỗi một khi làng có cái việc gì thì đầu tiên phải được đánh cái trống này để báo cho dân làng biết là
cái trống lối đầu tiên
là hôm nay là làng có việc lớn.
I'm quite lucky to be in the village the day before the anniversary dedicated to the founder of the craft. That's why I can see local women rehearsing their drum performance. It's interesting to know that here the men make the drums while the women play the drums.
At night, I got to see the rehearsal, where the women were practicing for the festival the following day, and that was really fun actually, because the women, they really kind of relaxed, and the atmosphere was really kind of jovial, which I really liked. And also I got to have a go, which was also really fun. It's funny because when I saw them doing it, when I saw them practicing, I actually thought that it would be really difficult. But it was easier than I expected it to be, to begin with. The lady who was showing me how to beat the drum, I think she was, at the beginning she was quite easy on me, and she was showing me some kind of more simple rhythms. But then it got more and more complex, and then it got harder and harder to follow. And towards the end it was impossible actually to keep it up without watching her and just following her. Because of the contrast between the silence of the village and then the really loud, heavy pounding of the drums, really kind of demonstrates the spirit of the village.
The following day, I can see how vibrant the festival is. Drum makers who run businesses far away all come back on this day to show their honour to their ancestors and also pray for the prosperity of the craft.
I can see certain similarities with British culture and Vietnamese culture. And I'm from the countryside in Britain, and we sometimes have festivals or parties or village fetes or whatever. And there are definitely some similarities in that they provide people with an opportunity to see each other, and you know, maybe in everyday life they don't have much interaction, but this is a special time of year when they can get together, when they can everybody in the village can catch up and meet each other again, you know. So really interesting to watch that and to watch all of the people and kind of I guess the devotion that they have to keeping their traditions alive.
Thì giờ chú lại phải lên đường, lại phải đi làm.
Đọi Tam village now has more than 500 drum makers, but they travel across the country to perform their craft. Only for occasions such as festivals or New Year's celebrations will they return home. Men move far away to earn a living, and women stay at home to look after the family and work the land. Life goes on, just as it has done for 1,000 years. Like all other drum makers in the village, whenever they start a new journey, they will never forget to come to the ancestral worshipping place at the beginning of the village to burn incense and pray. I can feel the great respect deep inside that people have for their ancestors.
Chú giờ lại phải lên đường đi làm đấy. Rồi cháu về quê hương chú, giờ là thăm quê hương chú, rồi biết về làm trống.
Dạ.
Như có nghĩa là trước khi là lúc chú cháu mình chia tay nhau.
Dạ.
Về quê anh chồng có gì làm kỷ niệm chú thì có cái trống. Đấy, cháu đem về bên nước Anh nhá, để phục vụ đá nhá.
Cảm ơn.
Đấy, để làm sao nhớ đến quê hương trống làng Đọi Tam. Đấy.
Dạ, cảm ơn rất nhiều nhỉ.
Rồi, thì là giờ thôi chú cũng phải đi kiếm tiền để nuôi vợ nuôi con ở nhà chứ đúng không?
Dạ.
Đấy. Thì đây thôi gì là.
Dạ.
Nào, chú chào.
Rồi. Cảm ơn nhé.
Rồi.
Cảm ơn rất nhiều.
Rồi. Nào có gì thì có gặp lại nhau sau nhá.
Dạ.
Rồi. Rồi, chú đi nhá.
Dạ, cảm ơn chú nhé.
Rồi, thế chào cháu nhá.
Dạ.
Rồi, chú cháu lại mạnh khỏe nhá.
Dạ, cảm ơn nhé. Tạm biệt chú. So I've had a really memorable experience here in Đọi Tam village, and I really hope that other foreigners can come and have a similar experience to what I have had with Vietnam Discovery.
Rồi.